Welcome to our world of Fiery videos, covering topics of everyday importance to print providers.
What are the key factors that have helped you grow your business?
Honestly, the biggest key factor for us has been personalization. As I said, when we started out, we were one text box and 80 characters. And in order to really truly grow our business, we had to get that into basically giving our customers complete control over their greeting cards. And we found once we allowed them to do that, that's when our business really started to take off. We did okay. We would do hundreds or a few thousand cards a day with that first system that we set out, where they could send just a kind of a generic, oh, hey, thank you for this, thank you for that. But once we allowed them to completely take control of their card, and they could attach kind of more of an emotion to the greeting card, because it was personal to that person that was going to receive it, that's when we really started seeing our business grow as the supplier of the greeting card. So you go online, they create a card, and we mail it out for them. So as soon as we gave them control to do what they wanted with their greeting cards, that's when we saw our growth. So I would say personalization is the biggest key factor to that. And with that, when we went from sending 100 cards a day to 1,000 cards, up to 10, 20, 30,000 cards every day, automation played a huge role in that, because obviously we couldn't do it the way we were doing it before, where we would have someone manually creating those cards and sending them out. We had to automate, and a big piece of that is the software that we use. Some of it's proprietary, but the DFEs also help us quite a bit in making sure that we can shave as much labor off the top of that as we can.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about all the different technology that you've invested in?
We have 4 IDEN 4s that we have here with the different DFE options on a couple of them. And as far as our storefront, the greeting card, or the website that people actually see, and then the back end that kind of takes care of the money, that's all proprietary to us. Another big piece that we use is XMPie. It helps us with traffic flow and getting our cards from the digital onto that greeting card.
So speaking of that, why don't you tell us about the procedure from when a user creates a personalized card on your website to when it gets output on your iDENs?
So the first step would obviously be for them just to log into the site, jump on there, and we have a catalog that they can choose from if they don't have something set that they want, or they can choose through our categories. Once they've picked the design that they want, they can then edit that design. They can change it, they can add their own pictures, they can put their own fonts in there, and they can do whatever they want in there. And once they've completed their card, they just put it in our hold queue, basically, which at midnight every day we pull that here local, basically transferring all of the information and all the assets from our web servers onto our internal servers. Then when our print operators get here in the morning, everything's here ready for them to go, and essentially from there they're going to log into XMPie and they're going to start directing traffic. As far as our operators can see, all they're doing is picking what cards they want and what printers to use. And that's as far as everything else is automated. There's a lot going on in the background, obviously, but they're routed through directly into hot folders from XMPie, so we don't have to manage anything other than just opening that one dashboard. From there, the greeting cards just start printing.
The complete automation of the process really must make your production incredibly efficient. So, you've got some incredible stats to take us through on that.
Yeah, our typical volumes, way before, there were a couple thousand a day maybe. Now we're up to 35, 40,000 greeting cards every day. During Christmas, those numbers jump up to 250, 300,000 per day, which is obviously a lot of images. We don't restrain or restrict how many pictures they can put on, so one greeting card can have as many images as they feel they want to put on there. So some of our cards, we have large cards which can hold several images. We've had over 100 images on a single card before. The contact database, so that's how we started out at SendOutCards, just taking our customers' contacts, and then they're stored there, so they can go in and just send a campaign to anyone in a couple of minutes. As well as that, they can put their own fonts in there. We do have over 111,000 fonts that we support, and those are mostly just an individual, and my font's in there, so I can go in and type, and it's my handwriting that comes through on that greeting card. And then over the past few years, or since we started, we sent over 107 million greeting cards since we started. Keep in mind that didn't happen just overnight. We started out really small, and most of those numbers, most of that 107 million has actually happened in the past 3 to 4 years.
Wow, those are some serious production stats. So why don't you tell us how the Fiery DFE helps maximize your efficiency and help get all those jobs out quicker?
Yeah, so once we plugged in our Fiery, there were quite a few changes that we saw. Obviously, speed is the big one. We give our customers complete control over their greeting cards. So a lot of them are very, very intense files. There's a lot of images, a lot of text. And then we combine their cards with other cards for print. So we get some really, really large files sometimes. So on average, our cards are processing about 10 times faster than with our previous RIPS software, as well as in certain cases on those large files, we've had some go from 1 minute on the Fiery as opposed to 30 minutes on our previous solution. So speed was a big one. Another really nice thing with the Fiery is that it starts printing as soon as it has enough to get the printer going, as opposed to storing them all up, caching them, and then unlocking a gate to start printing. And then with the speed, it just keeps up once it has enough ready. So our operators don't have to wait for 15-20 minutes in order to start printing things. Once they get in, they start sending files. By the time our printer maintenance is ready and done in the morning, they have things printing and they don't have to wait around. And they also don't have to cycle up and down the printers anymore, which is a big thing for us. The Fire also, the big reason that we liked it is because it still worked with our current setup, which is the VPS work stream that we use. The big reason we like the VPS is because we can take all of our EPS images, which are our large files that our internal artists created. So that would be the shopping cart, if you will. All of the assets that they make, which are the large files, we can actually pre-rip those, so when a greeting card comes through using that image, it's already pre-ripped. We don't have to worry about them slowing down our system.
Well, that's some great stats for the Fiery. So why don't you tell us some final thoughts on how our audience can, help grow their VDP business the way you have?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned as we've done this is just kind of step back and ask yourself what the main objective of the piece that you're trying to send out is. Whether it's a marketing piece, for us it's greeting cards, so for us we needed our customer to have complete control over their greeting card. So if you just take a step back and look at what you're trying to do, would be the first step. Once you've done that and you kind of do that, everything else will be a lot easier. So you can take your thing and then just make sure that your infrastructure can support your growth. Don't try to build something to hold 10 greeting cards when your overall goal is to send out millions a day. For us, we had to be able to do that. We had to be able to get through that. So just make sure your infrastructure is in place to start with, as well as do your homework on all of your products that you're looking into. It's really easy just to get in the same mode of let me call my salesperson and he'll tell me what I need, but really reach out there and find out what's out there for you, because everyone has different options and different pieces. For us, we mentioned VPS workflow is a big one for us, because we can actually take our files, rather than creating a PDF and transferring this really large file, we were able to just basically have XMPie make a blueprint for our product, send it through to the Fiery, which would then compile all the cards, so we don't have to transfer the large file. Everything's already been transferred or set there, so that then your DFE will do all the heavy lifting for us. As an example of one thing so make sure it's going to go with what workflows that you need, what different pieces you want, and as well as test for scalability. When you're working toward a new product, make sure you're testing files and where you are currently and where you want to be. Don't just send out small files and say, okay, it processed it, we're good. We've gotten into trouble there a couple times. So once you go in, just really test the product for what you're going to be doing with it and make sure it's going to work for you.
Thank you for watching. For additional resources and e-learning classes on this topic, visit our website. To see all recorded sessions and register for upcoming World of Fiery webinars, please visit efi.com/WOF webinars.